Okay, so please allow me to start with point one. Where does your ideal customer traffic go? So this is actually the new current layout of a Google search. So here I've looked for Antique Restoration London. Now this is broken up into three sections. At the top you see the pay-per-click adverts. The first thing we're then shown is what's called the local map pack. Now this map pack used to have 7 different businesses in it. Now it only has 3 businesses. This is of course a massive benefit if you're one of these 3 businesses, but if your business is 4 to 7, then you've effectively lost a lot of free traffic right there. Then at the bottom we see listings 1 to 3, which do gain the majority of the traffic. So let's look at how this traffic is actually distributed. 25% on average goes to the adverts, 27% goes to these 3 map pack listings, and 41% goes to number 1 to 3 of the organic listings. So having your business here, ideally in an array of the 3, is extremely beneficial, as that is where the traffic goes. Next, let's look at how to get your business in the map pack. Firstly, Google Plus is king. It's unavoidable. We quite simply have to play by Google Plus's rules. Why? Because having a Google Plus profile tells the Google local listings that our business, firstly, is that it's there, and secondly, that it is superior and more worthwhile to show to Google's customers rather than the competition. So the next question becomes, well, how can we make sure that our business is more predominant and more worthwhile to be shown than the competition, therefore gaining one of those 1 to 3 spaces in the map pack? So let's look at a very good example of a Google Plus profile versus a very bad one. So obviously you can see that the top is the good one and the bottom is the bad one. Why is this? Firstly, the top one is verified. What that means is that Shirley's Antique Clock and Repairs in Kent, she has claimed her Google Plus listing, and she has had a Google verification postcard sent to her business address, and she has then used that postcard, which contains a verification code, to go back into her Google Plus page and verify it, thereby telling Google that it is a real business in a real location and that she wants to be shown in the Google Map Pack listings. Next, she has added many of her own photographs. She has added a cover photo, which is the big photo on the right, and she's added a nice profile photo. She's also added her telephone number, her website, her opening times, and an array of all other information such as long description, short description, and other things that you can't see off the page. In contrast to Kent Antiques, now what Google done many years ago is they had an agreement with companies such as Yale, whereby they scraped all of the information and collated it into their Google business listings. Now what this means is there's now hundreds of thousands of businesses that are sat in Google's listings but are yet to be claimed and verified, and Kent Antiques is one of these examples, as you can see, as it has no tick, therefore it has not been verified yet. So here's some excellent bullet points to make sure that you can tick off to make sure that your business Google Plus profile is as strong as possible, thereby giving you the best possible chance to get in that local map pack and get you free traffic every single day. Firstly, making sure that you have a Google Plus page, whether that be creating one or claiming one existingly. Next is to verify your location to get that little tick, which will then mean that you can be found and located. Add a minimum of 10 photos and use one of these photos as your cover photo and the profile photo. Next, add all of the opening times, so allow your customers to see when it is that you're open for business. Be sure to add your website. Be sure to add a nice long description. Fill out pretty much all information possible. And your NAP, this is mean as your name, your address, and your phone number. Now, what's important is that the name, address, and phone number that you use for your Google Plus listing is exactly the same as it is throughout the rest of the internet, because the only reason we want the name, address, and phone number in other places in the internet is to tell Google, because at the end of the day, Google in a weird around way is kind of God when it comes to online consumers. It tells Google that we are in a lot of places throughout the internet. For example, if Shirley's Clock Antiques, if their name and their phone number and the address was in 100 different locations versus their competitor that was in 50 different locations, well then they're going to be shown in the map pack above their competitor. So firstly, ensuring that you firstly have your name, address, and phone number in your Google Plus profile, but secondly, making sure that that is the name, address, and phone number that you then use to list your business from that moment on throughout the rest of the internet. Next is to make sure that you have your Google Plus profile linked on your main website. This is what's called a social link. So people can go straight from your website to your Google Plus profile to have a look if they should so wish. So this is actually a list of the other factors that go into account into what enables people to be in this map pack. Firstly, this is a very easy one, something just to make sure, is the proper category association, because obviously if we want to be found for antique repair or restorations, then it makes sense that your business is categorized firstly as an antique repair and restoration. Also, there are other categories, so you're not just limited to one category, you can be listed in several. So maybe it could be antique repair and restoration, as well as clock repair and restoration, and other similar services that you may or may not offer. A little bit, we just touched on this before. A citation is actually that name, address, and phone number. So you see here, very important factors are the consistency, which is what I mentioned before, making sure that it's exactly the same as a Google Plus, and the quality/authority of structured citations. For example, if you're listed correctly on something like Yell versus some obscure directory in the Philippines, that clearly has much more of a weight towards your business. And of course, it's got to match the business page, which is saying that, like we said before, it's got to match what your Google Plus page is. Next, we'll touch on this in a moment, but this is on and off-site optimization. This really is sort of my expertise, making sure that the product and service that you offer is optimized on your website and indeed off your website. So you're being found for what you want to be found for. For example, antique restorations, Surrey. Obviously, this product and service keyword needs to be in the right places, in the right headers, in the right descriptions throughout your website. Okay, next is how to outdo the competition. Now, I mentioned before that if one business has, say, 50 name, address, and phone numbers throughout the internet, and one competitor has 100, well, then Google's going to show you above the competition. Well, fantastic. Well, what I can actually go and do is use a tool called Whitespark, and I can find exactly what's working for the competition, and then I can duplicate that. So here I've looked at antique repairs in London, and then I've compared the three. So what you would then go and do is you would go and get everything that the competition's got and then outdo them, and that way that makes sure that you get all of that traffic. But what I'm going to do here is rather than sort of offer this tool, I'm actually going to tell you exactly how to do it and effectively save you, I think, £560 of your own money to do something very effective, something that I usually hold quite close to my chest, but this is something that can really provide some great value to yourself. So firstly, ensure that your Google Plus page is complete and accurate before you go out and do this, otherwise it would be incorrect, which would of course make the whole process redundant. Number two, make sure that you've got a Facebook page and that that's also complete and accurate. Number three, go to localcitationservices.com. Now this is quite literally what I use. Then buy the premium package. So on the far right hand side there, you can see you can get 240 citations for the equivalent of around 40 to 45 pounds. The gentleman that does this service is great, provides a full service, and it's really sort of step by step. And congratulations, you just saved yourself £560. I usually end up charging £2.50 a citation for however many said customer would want. So right there, you're saving yourself £560 and really cutting me out of the equation. Number 3, now this is very, very interesting. I want to share with you the power of the review. In psychological terms, it's known as social proof. We care very, very much, even though we would like to think that we don't, but we do care what other people think, especially when it comes to making consumer choices. So on the left-hand side, I've got here, this is actually just done last month, this study, a real-life heat map. So what they've done is they've analyzed and tested the effect that having reviews on your Google Plus page does to the traffic. So as you can see there's a really bright red dot on Farrar and Lewis LLP law offices. Why are they getting the most traffic? Because they have the most reviews. Quite simple. In every test, reviews seem to attract the most clicks. Not only did they attract a lot of clicks, it also seems clear that being listed in a pack where your competitors have review stars and you don't is actually detrimental to your click-through rate, i.e. being clicked on and people seeing your website and then having the opportunity to do business with you. The importance of reviews seems to be as high as ever, and I would go as far as to say that if you don't have review stars and you don't plan on putting in a process to get legitimate reviews, you're making a bad business decision. So this really is one of those small tips that I've been paid hundreds and thousands in consultancy fees for, and it's as simple as go out there, fill out your Google Plus page, do what you can to get it in the map pack, and then if you just have maybe 7 to 10 reviews, then that makes your business stand out just so much. Look, you can see these 3 businesses here on the left. The one at the bottom, Normandy Law Firm, not a single piece of traffic has gone to them, and for all intents and purposes, the only difference is that they haven't got any reviews. So let's make sure that you do, and therefore you can generate more business through that little tip there for you. Number 4, something that's been dubbed as Mobilegeddon by, I think it was CNN that first called it this, and it appears to have stuck. This is a fairly huge change in e-commerce, and it's only going to affect both consumers and businesses more as time goes on. Google have just released something over the past couple of months. They are now actually punishing websites that are not mobile friendly. Now this started in July. Those non-mobile friendly websites are now receiving lower rankings each month. In turn, of course, this means they're being found less and less by their prospective customers, meaning to lower views and leading to some businesses already going out of business or having to have layoffs. This is actually going to affect more and more each month. So right now is really sort of the prime time to do something about this and get ahead of the curve and the competition and curve the negative effects that this could possibly have on your business. 50 to 60% of all internet traffic is now actually mobile, and it's actually a lot more for consumer traffic. So this is clearly a very, very important piece. A few years ago, mobile traffic was not a major concern, but given that the future projections are to go above 70% in the future, having a website that is indeed mobile friendly is becoming increasingly important. SCORE, a non-profit supported by the Small Business Administration that helps small businesses nationwide, have just said this: businesses are literally losing opportunities by not having a truly mobile-friendly website experience for their customers. In fact, 93.3% of small businesses' websites are not mobile compatible, despite the astounding 4 out of 5 consumers using a smartphone to shop. So right there is a huge disparity and a huge lag of businesses keeping up to date with what their consumers want. And what Google are now doing is, if businesses cannot provide their users with a user-friendly, mobile-friendly experience, well then they are losing their traffic because of that. So here really is where the opportunity lies within the antique restoration and repair sector, because I know from personal experience and from having clients, now it's sort of snowballing really, clients within this space, because I know from personal experience that your competitors will be among the slowest to react, thus presenting a positively weighted opportunity to those in your industry and in your space that do react for higher rankings, therefore more customers, and of course creating a far superior business image. So I wouldn't be in touch if your website was mobile friendly. This is indeed something that I would like to discuss with you further. Now I'd love to share with you a case study with regards to the individual who I got first introduced to the antique repairs sector by through an existing old friend who's still in London. This gentleman already runs a very successful business in the clock repair sector. He has locations in Kent and in London, as even been quoted by the BBC several times. He noticed that his rankings had already started to fall due to recent changes, and he heard of something to do with this whole mobile friendliness. He knew that he needed to update to keep with the times and to separate himself from the competition, some who had already started to invest in new mobile friendly websites. So we had a conversation. You can see his mobile friendly score. He unfortunately was not mobile friendly, and I'm going to build him a very beautiful looking mobile friendly website, something similar to the above. So that's what I'm going to be doing for him. And during our conversation, he wanted actually a lot more from it. So I'm actually going to be doing a lot of extras for him as well. A lot of on-site optimization. I'm going to be getting him to page 1 for Clock Restorer London. He did used to be on page 1 for that many years ago, but since things change, the rules change, so I'm going to be helping him get back there. I'm going to be helping him get to number 1 to 5 for Clock Restorer Kent. I'm going to be helping him set up social media profiles. Sadly, there's nothing that has to be actively engaged with, but having these there is a huge factor in today's landscape of getting your website noticed. Some social media signals. This is almost like the new SEO currency. So having things like shares on Facebook and Google+, I make all of these happen in the background. And I'm also going to be doing a load of citations for this individual. Now, I mentioned to you before how much I usually charge for this service. I just gave you the information for free. So I hope you get to act on that. So this is what I would very much like to discuss with yourself. So your current website is not mobile friendly, and I hope I've done a good job to explain about how this will be detrimental right now to your prospective consumer, and how in the future things are going to become more detrimental, and how thereby lies an opportunity with regards to outdoing your competition right now. So I would like to conduct a mobile conversion for you, and I will give you unlimited variants, so it can be in any sort of format you would like. I can give you plenty of ideas, plenty of things that have already been done, and we can just modify it until the point when you're happy with it. And then we're going to create a beautiful new mobile optimized website. Included in this, I will do all on-page optimization as well. So that's making sure that, for example, Anthony Meadows at the top there, antique furniture repair and restoration in Brighton. That's very well done on-site optimization. There's a lot more that goes into the background than people would believe, but I'll be doing everything to ensure that your prospective customer can find you. If required, some people would rather not, I take care of all hosting and costs for the first 12 months. There's no monthly tie-ins, nothing like that. This just is a one-off cost to provide you a service, and obviously I don't leave until you are extremely happy with everything that has been done. Multiple modifications until you're completely happy. And throughout October, it's my birthday this month, so I thought, why not chuck something else in. I'm going to throw in £100 worth of AdWords traffic to your website. Now, I believe that your sector as a whole is not utilizing AdWords as much as they could. So I would like to throw in £100 worth of traffic to your new beautiful website, and that will be completely free, included in the price. Additional services from myself. This isn't so much my traditional business offering. Often what I do a lot more of is lead generation, and I create actual business partnerships with people whereby I create business for them and I get paid on a percentage of the business. But since being introduced to a very nice gentleman already in a similar sector to yourself, I enjoyed the whole process. It was good. I know there's a need, and therefore I would like to offer the service that we're speaking about to you. Off-page optimization, this is a little bit more complex, but this is building influence and basically telling the internet that your website is one of the best. And this is what helps you get to, back to page 1, gets you to the top 1 to 3 map spots, and this sort of thing. Building social media profiles, taking care of everything in this sector. Doing all the citations, I know I've told you that how you can do them, but still, if you just want to pay me at cost to do it, that's not a problem. I can just get that done. YouTube videos. Now this is about taking up more real estate on page 1. For example, if you were a clock restorer in Surrey, if you Googled clock restorer Surrey, obviously you'd want to come up on page 1. Well, what I could also do is make a YouTube video of your services come up on page 1 as well. Thereby you're taking up more real estate on page 1. More chance of the consumer's perspective eyes on your business. AdWords, I can take care of all AdWords so that you just deal with more business. In essence, I can kind of do everything that assists in generating you more business. The cost, dramatically less than the value of the information that I've just provided here. I don't sort of like to say numbers, but I've got to be honest, I've charged thousands for the information that I've just given away here. Why do I do that? Because I like to extend my arm first and show value, and then I can then offer something else. I've never had a client be anything but overly happy with the price that I charge for this particular service, let alone the finished product. It's all about the finished product. I get a lot of referral business, so obviously it's massively in my incentive. Please call me back on 07746 708 249, or feel free to email me on scottryanlee1@gmail.com. I look forward to speaking with you. And of course, have a great day. I look forward to putting something together for you, and all the best.